Halo is a very important game for consoles because not only is it responsible for putting Xbox on the map, or because it was a pioneer in console first-person shooters in terms of online and multiplayer, but because I couldn't think of anything original to start this video with. But seriously, Halo was a pretty big deal when it first came out. It was the game to get your Xbox with, and pretty much standardized how most first-person shooters control today. Now, as of December 2019, you can play Halo the Master Chief Collection on Steam, which is what I'm going to be using to cover this game in my review. I can't really compare this to other versions of Halos, but this collection is infamous for having some pretty bad sound issues. It's not that bad in Halo 1, the real issues start in Halo 2 for me. But I mean, the fact this game released in late 2019 and they didn't even have the option to adjust sounds for like dialogue and sound effects and music separately, it's just mind-boggling. I mean, listen to this.
Alright? Can you move? Yeah, then
So because of this, many times during my first playthrough, I'd be going around killing bad guys, having a blast, not hearing what Cortana is saying very well, and then when I'm done, it's like, where am I? If you want to somewhat fix it, the best way you could do it without getting freaky with your game files is just to switch to the HD graphics by pressing tab. Can I just say I really like this feature? Just being able to simply press tab to switch between graphics is just such a cool idea. While personally I think the older graphics look cooler and more nostalgic, the HD graphics look absolutely stunning in some cases, which is why I like they give you the option to change on a whim. But who cares? It's not gameplay. Well, basically you play as Master Chief and you're taking part in a war as humans fighting against the alien race known as the Covenant. During your battle, though, you end up crash landing on the nearest planet, which is Halo. And after that, it's really just a fight for survival as you uncover more about what Halo really is. The locations in this game is what makes this game stand out amongst the rest of the shooters in my opinion, because in-games for it, like GoldenEye 007, Perfect Dark, Doom, they're on these maze-like hallway shooting galleries, and I'm not saying that's bad, it's actually a really good fun game design that I enjoy, but what Halo does to level down is just super cool. There's these big massive battlefields with so many intricate designs that they can feel real and fun to explore and just battle on. Which is why enemy design in this game rules. You got the grunts, which are a pretty easy target who actually just run and scream. The enemy design's good. Just trust me. You got the elites, which is really cool and smart AI. They know how to handle a lot of battle situations. They're really just well-rounded enemies to fight on the battlefield. You got the shield guy pieces of that make me want to jump off a train. You got the hunters. Take this! But here comes the part that makes Halo suck a little. So the last enemy I wanted to talk about was the Flood, which are introduced about halfway through the story, and they're basically these zombie-like creatures. And it's pretty fun the first level you see them. You have to go down to a base to get access to Halo's defense systems, and you find a video of some army dudes getting killed off by them, and then they attack you, and they just take the level you're originally playing on, and it gets infested with them. And at first, it's like, oh man, this is awesome, having to go through the level blasting these guys. It's like they're all coming at you. But then, they stay there for the entire story. It just bugs me because they play a huge role in the second half, and it goes from fun game to super smart enemies that can handle all these battle situations, making it fresh. But when these guys are on screen, it's just... Alright. But besides the Flood making the second half more frustrating and mindless rather than fun and fresh, I'd say the parts without them are amazing. I don't really hate the Flood, I just wish there was less of them so I could appreciate their design more. Alright, next up, guns and mechanics. Wow, really great segue, crew. Firstly, the most important mechanic in this game is the fact that you can pick up every weapon in the game except for the energy sword for some reason. But the catch is you can only hold 2 weapons at a time. I really like this, it just adds this cool hidden strategy. I mean, you might have the assault rifle and the magnum, 2 weapons you already really like. But what if you get a plasma rifle and you want that instead, because each gun in the game has its pros and cons, so you gotta make that decision before you keep going forward, which in my opinion makes the levels way more replayable and fresh since you have these new combinations each time. You wanna hear something about this game that's significantly less cool? Like, for some reason, on some weapons that let you zoom in, like, you know, the magnum, the sniper, all those stuff, whenever you get shot at, it just automatically zooms you out. That's stupid. I cannot tell you how many times I've been playing in single player or multiplayer and I have a perfect shot lined up and I can't because a few bullets hit me and it's all over. You wanna know what's even stupider? The reason they made this was because, and I quote, it's a suppression technique, weakens precision weapons during battles, shooting a sniper for example. It's a mechanic that needs to be in the game so precision weapons don't become too out of hand. Like, that doesn't really matter. If someone's camping with a sniper, they can still kill me before I see them and start shooting at them, so it doesn't really change that at all. I mean, at least the Magnum's cool. I don't know why, but it's just super, super strong in this game. Like, they're not strong in the other Halo games, it's just this one. And sometimes it's easier to take out certain enemies with the pistol than it is with a big-ass assault rifle. Speaking of the assault rifle, it's one of the most iconic guns in Halo, and it may feel weak. Actually, it feels pretty weak. But it may feel weak at times, but the best part of the gun is... you got the sniper rifle, and that one's just fun because... the shotgun is cool because it has the range of about 30 miles and can take out annoying enemies really quick. Like the Flood, the rocket launcher, and a flamethrower that's exclusive to the multiplayer. That's kind of lame. And the grenades and the sticky grenades that I have a love-hate relationship for. I mean, they're pretty cool sticking enemies with grenades because it's really efficient for taking out enemies like elites, but since the grenades can stick to them, they could also stick to you, which makes sense. The only problem is, once they stick to you, you're dead and there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, I might have just spent all this time taking out all these enemies, but... no, I didn't. But Halo added some cool new weapons that aren't really in any other games. Earlier, I said you could pick up every weapon in the game, which obviously includes enemy weapons, which are actually pretty cool. The plasma pistol and rifle, they're pretty similar to their regular counterparts, except you have this cool charge with the pistol, and as long as you don't fire too much so the gun doesn't overheat, you don't ever have to reload the gun. And finally, the Needler, which is just a handgun that shoots out needles that you can explode, and it's pretty fun using it, not very fun when it's against you. And how could I forget the vehicles? This is fun, just being able to go around in these big open areas of the vehicle, maul down enemies with the weapon attachments, it's great. My favorite one by far is the Ghost. It lets you go super fast and slick. The money gun on here is awesome. It's just perfect for this game. The Banshee is basically the Ghost, except you can fly all around in the air now, so that's pretty cool. An actual tank, and of course the classic Warthog, the Halo vehicle, just a big four-wheeler to go around the levels. It's amazing. Each vehicle brings something to the table which makes you want some over the others, and all of them are great, if you're fine controlling them with the mouse. Yeah, at least for PC, you gotta move and turn the vehicles with the mouse. I mean, I get it for the Banshee, so that way you can get all movement, and it actually works pretty well here. For the Ghost, I'll let it off easy, since you can still move left and right with the keys. You just have to move around to aim with the mouse, which, it's fine. But man, it does not apply for the Warthog at all. I mean, it's fine, I got used to it, but like, for the driver, it doesn't even have to do anything firing the weapon. The minigun is mounted on the back. So why can't I just move with the keys? I gotta use the mouse. Well, whatever. If you can look past that, the vehicles are still pretty cool. Well, that's all I gotta say about the single player side of things, but I'm missing the other half of Halo. The multiplayer. Which is basically an entire beast on its own. For one, you could replay through the multiplayer with another person, which could lead to really tactical and fun plays. Alright, Alex, if we just work together, we should have this done.
Bro, what the fuck?
But obviously, the star of multiplayer is the death matches. I could honestly play this game with friends for hours and I'd probably never get bored. All the mechanics in Halo just work so well with multiplayer. Except, I will say the assault rifle is pretty much worthless in online. It just feels like it turns into a game of who shot first, and if someone else on the other team comes in, you can't win. Alright, yeah, Halo's a big deal. It had a superb story, it was super innovative, it had really good gameplay, it has some of the best multiplayer experiences I've ever had in my entire life. So no wonder this game was a masterpiece.